today, so I'm all prepared to read last month's minutes. Here you go. Forgot about somebody taking minutes. Okay, sorry about that. Roll call. Let's see. Lynn, are you here?
I am present.
Roxanne, are you here?
Yes.
Bill, you're here.
Yep.
Sam?
Yep.
Kathy?
Here.
Donna? Not. Okay. There we go. There's a roll call, all present. I am going to be reading the minutes because poor Donna's dog is unfortunately not well. Let's see, the monthly business meeting for March 8th, 2025, which of course most of you are here. Invocation was done by Kathy Grimes. We did the pledge. Attendees, Bill, myself, Sam, Lynn, Kathy, Roxanna, and Donna. I said, the clubhouse is almost finished. I thanked Becky for decorating. Eric is currently recording the meeting. The crepe myrtles have been cut back. These are the ones across from the office. Because they created a buying spot from the clubhouse. The newsletter was done, and my thanks to Colleen and her husband Dana for doing such a great job. I requested that all comments be held until all of the reports are complete as per the proper meeting order. When you make a comment, please stand at the microphone and say your name. Kathy said Sonny is her assistant. He will be touring the neighborhood reporting offenders. She thanked the people who worked on the newsletter. She is working on long-range planning. Roxanna will help with the Facebook page. She requested volunteers and ideas. Roxanna provided her background and experience history. She volunteered for a few months with us until December when she was appointed to the board. It appeared that the taxes hadn't been filed for 3 years on the IRS website, which would affect our 501c3 status as well as cost the APOA. Taxes will be caught up and we hope to waive the penalties to save the 301c3. She also commented on Gregory and Associate being let go by the prior board, and she and I have requested that they be reinstated to help us catch up with our financial responsibilities. The office staff has been trained in QuickBooks, and the system of checks and balances has been implemented. A strategic plan will also be implemented. Deposits will be made within 2 days, and there will be regular audits. The treasurer should be bonded. Mark Baker noted the taxes had actually been filed, and he will produce documents from the IRS when the taxes are caught up. John Lillard requested that the total liability, questioned the total liability due to the IRS. He also stated that their strategic plan as well as the long-range plan was on the old website, which is no longer in existence. Gregory and Associates was let go because they would not provide a breakdown of their costs to the APOA, and as the APOA had requested. Codes will be needed in order to recover information from the prior website. Leslie recommended that we focus on the future and let things that happened in the past go. She also stated that the paperwork was boxed up when they remodeled the office and many documents were never recovered. It was suggested that we stop spending money until we get our finances accurate, but Wendy assured everyone that there is enough money to complete our current projects and the taxes will be done in time. The operating account beginning balance was $15,610.05. Deposits were $9,113.50. Disbursements $14,366.17. Ending balance $10,357.38. In the reserve account, the beginning balance was $93,086.49. The deposits were nothing. Withdrawals $7,000. Bank fees $0. Interest earned $137.31. Ending balance of $86,223.80. The CD account has $50,000. 89 owners have not yet paid their AMAs. Public Works bill. The cement behind the gatehouse will be done by the end of the month. Marine grade lumber is needed as well as volunteers to appear in order to save in labor cost. Ask owners to put out white flags in their yard if they don't want green goblins to mow along their streets. The flags can be picked up in the office. Building control, Kathy, see Vice President report. Okay. Ecology, Sam. Sam reports daylight saving time starts tonight. Please remember to check your clock, to set your clocks forward 1 hour. He's considering changing roadside cleanup from March 15th to coincide with a statewide cleanup from April 12th through April 26th, looking at April 19th at 9 o'clock. Parks and Rec. Lynn says no pop luck this month. April 19th will be the Easter egg hunt. April 26th at 9 will be the yard sale. She will provide maps. She wants to change the name of the park opening which will be held on May 26th, Memorial Day. July 4th will be the golf cart parade. She is asking for the craft fair suggestions on Facebook. North Carolina requires sales and use tax pre-registration. The only exemptions are schools and churches. John Lillard suggested to rent the clubhouse to crafters for a very low price. The crafters will be responsible for the taxes. A sign-up sheet at the back for the craft fair. The clubhouse is booked through August or September. There will be no rent increases for owners, but outside rentals will increase. Rentals for the community take priority over outside rentals. Kitty reported there were gunshots reported. She reminded us to contact the Sheriff's Department. She logged in 113 hours. John thanked Kitty for the Are You OK program, stating it has worked on 2 occasions. Old business, new business. Mark stated that the animal control will start catching cats. Colleen is conducting a survey about dogs being allowed in the park. She will form a committee. The survey forms have several options for members to vote: dogs on leash or create a dog park or no dogs allowed at all. Kitty mentioned concerns about liability insurance. Wendy spoke with the insurance company who advised her that we cannot have an enclosed area. The question is are considered an enclosed area. An update on Steve Brown was given, stating that he's been released from the hospital after his surgery and is now home. Benediction again was Kathy Grimes. The meeting ended at 10:27. There are 21 attendees plus 6 board members. Roxanne, you good? Okay, we're doing. Oh, I apologize.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, minutes approved. This is what happens when we meet the secretary. Okay, we're doing things a little differently this time. Roxana has a PowerPoint presentation. She is going to go first because she has a meeting that she needs to attend afterwards. So, please welcome Roxana.
Oh, I get a microphone too.
Oh.
I feel really special.
All
I
right.
don't know, I thought I could talk loud enough.
Yeah, but not for Eric. He's you louder.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Absolutely.
Yes, can you hear me now?
I'm nervous enough as it is.
All right, so everybody might want to shift their chairs a little bit.
Just a little bit, please. And I want to thank you for coming this morning. And this morning I'm going to go ahead and provide a financial report of where we are as far as the funds and assets. And I need my keys.
Did she hold it in her hand? No, there you go.
It's okay. I feel like Wolfman Jack. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start. If you want to look over there, and hopefully cross your fingers that this works. Okay, so this morning we're going to talk about the CD account, the reserve account, operating funds, financial report, and what is next for us. On August 30th, 2024, the CD account was opened at Truist Bank, and $50,000 was transferred from the operating fund to the reserve account. Well, I'm sorry, it was transferred from the reserve account to the CD account. Now, this $50,000 matured on March 30th, 2025, and earned $1,280.71 in interest. The total amount of the CD was rolled over for another term, and the next maturity date is going to be October 30th, 2025. We're getting interest at 0.05%. Okay. Savings account, reserve account, there has been some discussion because some people think, and I'm just being very honest when I say this, some people think the reserve account is supposed to be not touched, it's supposed to stay there. Both accounts are fluid. The reserve and your operating fund go back and forth, so they're fluid. And according to the bylaws, Section 5, Article B, Item 7, the association is supposed to develop and manage a program to establish the reserve fund. And the reserve funds shall be managed as to provide maximum return. It doesn't say anything about stockpiling money. It's supposed to be invested to get maximum return. And that includes, we're supposed to go ahead and invest in the money and also into business activity and into our current assets, to improve our current assets. Does everyone understand? Okay, good. So the reserve account in 2023, the balance was $88,298.05. It earned a total of $10.33. When I came on board, I asked Wendy, why is your reserve account earning so little money from interest when you have such a large amount in there? You need to explore that. She did explore that. So we changed the account status, and it made a big difference. The reserve account in 2024 started off at $88,308.38. We made deposits. Now this $27,225.63 was from an insurance check that the POA received as a result of damage to the roof here. So those funds were transferred into the reserve account for safekeeping so they wouldn't get spent, which left $115,534.01 into the account at that time. We went ahead and made 3 withdrawals. $20,975 to repair the roof, then $4,919.04 to buy an ice maker for the clubhouse. Because the cost to fix the roof was not as much as they thought, they used that extra surplus money to buy the ice maker. And then, of course, the withdrawal was for the $50,000 for the new CD, leaving a balance of $39,639.97. Okay, so still in 2024, bringing that balance forward, we went ahead and took from the operating fund and transferred $50,000 to the reserve because we wanted the money to gain interest instead of sitting in a no-interest account. We also transferred over $30,000 for the same reason. So we had a total of $80,000 that transferred from the operating funds to the reserve to gain interest. So here's the big difference. For 2024, you earned $1,288.40 in interest, which is a good thing.
Compared to the $10 that we had.
Compared to what we had before, because that's what we were making in interest in that account the first time was like just a penny a month, maybe 75 cents.
So we go ahead and continue. So the balance brought forward. So we withdrew $50,000 from that $80,000 that we had deposited back into the operating funds for the purpose of fixing the windows, the flooring, the concrete, and the clearing of trees, and some other contractor stuff that we did, which left, and then we have earned interest of $413.90 up to date. So the current balance in your reserve account / savings is $71,342.27, which is not a bad deal there. Okay, so let's continue. So you have $97.50 in petty cash. Your previous amount in your operating funds was $10,357.38. We deposited $29,667. The balance leaving $40,024.38. We withdrew, of course, in expenses, $27,899.71, leaving the balance in the checkbook as of the 2nd of April, $12,124.67. All accounts have balance and very sorry about it. Let me see, without making a mess, if I can. Oh, yeah, I know, but it doesn't help. Okay, oh. Oops, I knew I messed it up. All right, so let's try. Okay.
I dig it.
Okay, so basically, oops, you see it. I know, that was really good. Okay, so basically, let me use,
Are you in slideshow? If
yeah,
you come out of slideshow and go to the actual slide, you can enlarge it without any.
that sounds like a wonderful idea.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Let me find this slide. Here we go. Okay, sorry about that.
I'm not sure how you have that set up.
There you go.
I don't know.
Go back, go back.
I don't know if it'll go back, but basically for this slide, since it's small, the projected,
F5, I think, gets you back to the slideshow.
hmm?
I think if you hit F5, it'll re-project it.
Okay, let me give you these numbers because they are too small to read. Okay, so basically, with your current projected budget, your projected income was $125,550. Your projected expenditures was $195,394. Okay, now these are your actual amounts. So your actual income so far, because we're not done with the fiscal year yet, you have till April 30th, is $182. Oh, yes, because that includes the transfer money back. So we used that for this budget, which was $182,796. $182,796.12. And your actual expenditures during this period were $162,549.75. So we are slightly under budget, which is a good thing. So I'm going to find F5 somewhere. I don't know, mine is old. Let me see. I hope we can, okay.
Stephanie's good though.
It's on. It's on.
Yeah, thanks. It's probably my machine, it's an old one.
We could have gone under display settings, but you've already done it, so.
Thank you.
Thanks,
I really appreciate it.
No problem, I do it all day long, it's my job.
Okay, as far as the income received, I did a pie shape. I thought it would be interesting. The big orange, Pac-Man looking thing is the income that you've received. So in the next slide, I kind of break it down, and it might be a little bit harder to see. It's basically we received $150 from the newsletter, $116,647.46 from the AMAs, which was 87%, give or take. And then associate AMAs was $995, which was 2.26%. Credit card fees that we were on was $201.16, which was 0.15%. Late fees that we have received is $7,249.54, which is 5.46%. Fines, $200, which is 0.15%. Sales, $322.96, which was 24%. And the clubhouse rentals, which was $5,030, which was at 3.79%.
Can I ask a question? What's the difference between AMA and associate AMA?
So AMAs are the regular members.
Right.
Associates are people that do not live here and do not have bought property here. They're not property owners here
Then why are they paying AMAs? I'm confused.
because they use the facility.
Gotcha, okay, perfect, thanks. I just want to understand.
No, I hear you.
I didn't know that membership was available to, I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yes.
Associate members are actually sponsored by a property owner. They go through an approval process and then, accept it if they want to.
I knew we had that, so I just didn't understand if that's what it was called.
Thank you for explaining that.
You're more than welcome. Okay, so So the next slide is your expenditures. And as you can see, the nice bluish green color is what we have paid in contractors, which is $85,773 out of the whole budget. And again, it's for the work done to the clubhouse, and it costs money. If you need a breakdown, I can provide one for you. I think I have it in my bag, but that's pretty much it. And then on the next page, can you read that? Oh, good, that one's much better. So in utilities, that was 2% of the budget, which was $363,000. After so many numbers, I'm telling you, $3,676.74. Contractors, $85,773.71. You also have to understand in that contractor thing, it also provided the materials, especially like for the windows. When we paid the $33,000 for the windows, that included the windows. That was just not somebody's labor. It included the materials as well. And materials, as all of you know, is very expensive. So collection agency, $1,671.25, which is 1%. Fuel, $241.01%. Equipment, $3,190.76, 2%. Environmental waste, $2,130.53, 2%. Lawn maintenance, don't worry, I'm almost done. It was $13,780, which is 8%. Repairs and maintenance done to the property as well was $9,624.13, which is 6%. Janitorial services, the people that come and clean after we have people that use the clubhouse, $610, which is 0.01%. Furnishings that were purchased for example, chairs and everything, and the decorations and things like that for the clubhouse was $4,839.48, 3%. Which you have to understand, with the remodeling, you want to make sure that your furnishings are up to date, especially because this is an asset to you, and you get to rent it and you get income from it. So you want to make it as appealing to the public as possible and safe. So then we had individuals that were paid $10.99 to work in the park. That was $1,090. That was 1%. The slag and the rock that we used for the roads, that came out to $7,718.03. That was 5%. Legal was $618.62, 0.01%. Propane for here in the kitchen and everything that they use. Of course, you use it for heating, I don't know, yes. So that was $1,641.01, which is 1%. Programs was $3,021.41, which is 2% of your budget. Internet and phone service was $3,460.64, 2% of your budget. Bank fees, $908.54, 0.1% of your budget. Vehicle, I guess you had to get tags, which is okay, $35.57, which is 0.1%. Your insurance that covers the property here was $12,662. That was 8% of your budget. And postage was $900.50, 0.1% of your budget. And finally, office supplies, which was $5,355.73, which is 3% of your budget. So the next slide is, I just want to make clear to everybody, because there has been some discussion that we were overspent on funds and everything, but the funds that were used for the repair and remodeling of the clubhouse should be under capital improvements. And these capital improvements are assets, which are in your benefit. So it's not like you're going out and just stroking a check to pay somebody to come in here. You're remodeling and you're fixing your assets. So at a later time, if you choose to rent them or sell them, you can get a leak in your home, in the roof, are you going to let it stay leaking while you keep the money in the bank? No, you take the money out the bank and you fix your roof. That way, later on, if you decide to sell it, you get a better price for your house with a good roof rather than a leaky roof. It just makes sense. Okay, next slide. Okay, so these are the POA assets as of the 2nd of April. Now, your petty cash is $97.50. Your accounts receivable that you have in your QuickBooks is money that people owe the Property Owners Association. That is an asset. That is an asset. Money that people owe you is an asset. So $56,482.85. What you have in your operating funds is $12,124.67. Your savings account, your reserve, $71,342.27. And your CD, which is $51,280.71. So your total cash and cash assets are $191,328. Woo-hoo. Okay. I mean, a little cheer here. Okay. Yes.
What about, you're talking about the accounts receivable?
Yeah.
I thought that the back accounts that where money was owed to us was turned over to the collection agency, so is it still our money?
Not all of it, no, not all of it. There are still property owners that owe funds and accounts receivable on your books. So we're just talking about assets. Those are assets that are included. They owe the company money, so those are assets. So
How much of those account receivable is people that are, I mean, is that including 2025's?
no, it does not include
So
the
we're gonna even have more come in when that goes official. that they're
what
owed,
your assets, where your accounts receivable show now are people that
Are in arrears.
are more than 90 days,
Okay.
yes.
So
And we're
when
working on
we
collecting
go
those.
official with our AMAs, which I think May 1st is
Your
when
accounts
they're due.
receivable will then go right back up.
I gotcha, okay.
And again,
So it's just accounting.
yes,
Yeah.
it's just your
Mhm.
assets. So you're gonna be expecting that amount that's in there, plus the 110, 115,000 for new people, because when we do the invoicing again, your accounts receivables are going to go up, because that's money that's gonna be due to you. And I want you to understand, this is your association, and you need to know how it's functioning, what assets you have and what you don't have, so you can make, so you're aware, basically.
I have a question. I don't know if the HOA has my proper address, because when I bought my property, I had an apartment and I moved, because I haven't been getting, sometimes I'll get something in the mail that is random. Can I call the office and pay by, over the phone? Or?
Speak to the woman right behind.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We're the office.
Okay, all right, okay, I'll talk to you about that. Okay, and also, I do understand about the, not deferring maintenance and going ahead and reinvesting, because deferring maintenance is putting it off on the future. So we're actually responsible to keep the clubhouse and everything at least to the standard it was, and not letting it down.
Correct.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, so let's talk about your tangible assets, your physical and tangible assets. And I don't have them listed here. And I've asked Bill, and I've also asked the lady at the office, we're gonna be working on a asset list with amounts on there, so you can see that when we meet again, you'll be able to see exactly how much you have in the amount that you have in tangible assets. So we're gonna give the clubhouse an amount, how much the clubhouse is due with the market value, how much the property is worth, at the market value. So you have an idea of how much you have in tangible assets.
That's to include our equipment.
That includes the clubhouse, the office, the gate, the property. The Arrowhead Beach Property Owners Association also owns lots throughout the subdivision. So that's also a tangible asset. The barn, the shed, public work equipment, the appliances here, office equipment, office supplies, computer printer, scanner, furnishings, any type of inventory that they have.
About the playground.
Yes, playground equipment.
Is this the numbers that weren't here last
Thank
week?
you.
Remember the one lady came, got up and said she forgot her?
That's me, that's computer, website.
It's on the website, okay, thanks.
That's not me,
I
I'm
just
saying,
wanna
it was
check
me
it out.
that said I didn't have it.
Alright, that's, I was just trying
I
to
got it.
get my head straight, that's all.
I got a little bit more and then I'll be out of your hair. I promise. Okay, now let's talk about your liabilities. Liabilities is what you owe someone else. And I am happy to tell you that other than, okay, your accounts payable, when I looked at it this morning, was zero. Everything is paid. Okay, as far as accrued expenses, you have no employees. The Property Owners Association is an all volunteer staff. So you have no wages or workman's comp to worry about. Of course, you have utilities to get paid. Those get paid every month faithfully. Receiving funds from, you don't have any funds, you don't have to pay for any other funds. Deferred revenue is what I'm talking about at this point. And then a line of credit, the only thing you guys have is a credit card. That's it. You have no mortgages, you have no loans, all your bills are paid. So basically, other than your credit card and some other incidental stuff, your regular day-to-day expenses, you have zero debt.
What about the taxes?
Taxes, that's a good question.
We have yet to hear from the IRS whether.
No,
Is that
property
taxes?
taxes.
We don't pay property taxes.
You're 501c.
So but I am talking about the taxes that haven't been paid in 3 years. So,
Let me finish this and I'll be
Okay,
happy to
all
answer that.
but they would be under an accounts payable, would they not?
Yes, but that's a different subject. Just
Okay.
let me cover this. I've got one more slide and then I'll answer that. Okay, so the last slide, well, almost to the last slide. Here are things that I have to do, okay? Since we've gone ahead and approved the budget's gonna be entered into QuickBooks. We're gonna revise the chart of accounts. We've already created the invoices for the AMAs for 25 to 26. We're gonna continue scanning the materials that we need to scan into the QuickBooks and the backup system. And we're working on applying for a surety bond for the treasurer in the amount of $50,000. We're still trying to find a CPA, nobody wants to take it. And all quarterly reports have been completed. Okay, so the last slide is just telling you thank you for your time. Now, let's talk about what you just said. Let's talk about the taxes, okay? The tax situation that took place was after we had that meeting, we went ahead, Ms. Wendy went ahead and contacted this gentleman by the name of Mr. Jeff Danmeyer. Mr. and Mrs. Jeff Danmeyer went through their entire computer and was able to find the confirmation where the former treasurer and Mr. Danmeyer had filed those taxes for that year. Okay, no, there's more.
That was what year?
There's more.
That was 2020,
22 to 23.
Okay.
Okay, there's more. Okay. We had called the IRS twice before. There was nothing on the website. When I called the IRS, I had to go ahead and give them that confirmation number that was given to me for them to locate the return. There was an error message on the return, which was not addressed. Okay? So, I was able to go ahead and get a copy of that return and go ahead and I had a copy of the confirmation. I spoke with Ms. Wendy and we had contacted Gregory and Associates and they told us they couldn't help us until after tax season, sometime in May. We conferred. I said to her, let me try it. And with God's help, and her sitting next to me, I did the following year's taxes, which was 23 to 24?
Yes.
Yes, we did them on March 11th in the evening, her and I sitting in that office.
We had so much fun.
Yes, it took us an hour and a half, and we got the confirmation, and as of March 11th, we had not heard not one peep from the IRS. So we're waiting, and good news, no news is good news. Now, this year's taxes, I will be doing them in June. That's why we need the inventories, and because we also have to include depreciation in the taxes. So that's the story about the
So
taxes.
if the error had not happened,
No?
If there
we
was
would have been behind
communication,
the 1 year. So we're not really 3 years behind, we're
not
2 years
anymore,
behind.
no,
And
no,
well,
we're
we
not,
were 2 years behind.
yes, yes.
And now we're just a year, we're
We're current.
Yeah, okay.
Everything is current.
So when you said 3 years, that's concerning. You know, when you hear the word 3 years with IRS, that's
No,
concerning. So it was never really 3 years, it was,
Yes, but you have to understand too, that's why we need communication. And also, the IRS is not the best communicator at all too, so.
So I did not lie to you then. I did not lie to you. I told you that Jeff Danmeyer and I had done that.
Yes, you
And
did,
she-
but you provided no information.
Wait a minute, let me finish.
I'm not gonna get into an argument.
No,
I really am
I'm
not.
not trying to argue with you.
It's
I'm
the
just-
dumb.
no,
let him
I'm
say
just-
what he
I'm
wants to say, and we'll see if it's argumentative. That's what this meeting's about. Go ahead, sir.
What I'm saying to you was, and what I said to you at the last meeting was Jeff Danmeyer and I had both prepared the taxes. He confirmed that with you. He confirmed that with you.
No, I haven't spoken
Wait,
to
don't, hang on a second. You called me a liar, you screamed at me in front of my face, and said all these things in front of all these people that I have been invested in for over 50 years. You called me a liar, and you just sat there and told, and Jeff told you that we
Okay,
did
stop,
do it.
please
No,
stop,
let-
stop.
let-
No, we're not gonna stop, because I'm getting sick and tired of you guys lying about me.
Okay.
You guys have lied. No, I provided you, no, shut up! I provided you the information. You continue to walk over top of me, you continue to lie, and everybody on this board knows that I did it. You know, that's not being,
No, but here's the thing.
you know, this is, you know.
Let you talk, and now
No,
you're, but
no,
now
wait
you're
a minute, no, when you're called a liar,
I
you
get
were
it.
screamed at in front of
So
everybody
maybe
else.
all
This
we
has
need is
nothing
an
to do with
apology.
you. I'm telling you
I'm
guys.
calling the sheriff
Go
tomorrow.
for it.
Please
Yeah, you just need to calm down, like, that's.
We're listening
You
to
know
you.
what, you're not listening. You're
We're
not
listening
I
to
tried
you.
to explain it to you.
Please
You have
stop.
you've gone out of your way to defame my character, you question my integrity, you question my ability to do this job.
I think that you just need to calm down and
No,
sit.
I'm trying to have a conversation with you, and all you guys are walking over the top of me, and everybody who's sitting here at the board is allowing you to have
It
it.
is 600.
You didn't allow us to explain.
No, last time when I was trying to explain to you, you guys were cutting me off.
We're at the clubhouse.
Yep, so,
Hey, Mark, get your glasses.
Yes,
thank you.
We're having someone who's pretty irate.
nobody's breaking anything here. Quit lying.
Yes.
Quit your lying.
Okay, quick
Man,
explanation.
never mind, he left.
Quick explanation. At the time, we called the IRS said the information had not been filed. We looked into it, we couldn't, we were going at the time of the meeting, as far as we know, the information had not been filed. Mark at the meeting said that he had done it. He said he worked with Jeff Danmeyer. I had it myself instead of, I would have hoped that Mark would have come forward with the information. He said he left a copy of the taxes in the office. They were not there. The gentleman did call me a liar as well, but they were not in the office. So it was because we were proactive that we were able to find out the information. It's not that we were intentionally accusing, we were simply going by the information that the IRS had given us. Not, we had nothing else to go. We could not find it in the computer. We searched everything in the computer. There were no paper files showing that the taxes had been done. Becky and I had looked everywhere. There was nothing showing that the taxes had been done. Now, you would think that if you did the taxes, you would have a file in the computer, you would have a file in the file cabinet. There was nothing. So the only reason that we found that the taxes had been done correctly was because I proactively called Jeff Danmeyer, who then kindly took his time, and it took him a while to go back through his computer and find the information that we were then able to resource and call up the IRS and find out, yes, though there was an error at the time that had not been addressed, they were done. So, yes, they were done. how well they were done, that's another, scenario, but.
Yes, and that is another scenario, because when we reviewed the taxes were not done properly, but they were accepted. And what happened is, there were several places that were not correct. For instance, on line 1 of the tax return, you have gifts and contributions and grants. And then on line 3, you have where you go ahead and put your AMA assessments. Well, they went ahead and put 72,000 and some change in line 1 that we have received that in contributions, which was not correct. And that we received $3,000 in assessments. That was not correct. They also put in there that there were no board members. That was not correct. And there was other data missing. So, but for me, when I asked them, how do we correct this? Well, you're gonna have to do an amended return, and then you're gonna have to pay for every day because you didn't do it right the first time. So we thought, okay, the best thing is they haven't complained about it, let's just leave it alone and move on. But the problem is when you go ahead and change the password, delete information, and are not forthcoming, and we try to do investigations to see what you did and what you didn't do, that's a problem. It's a problem. And you got board members that get upset, board members that they do their time, and some of them get upset, they resign, and then they regret it. And then that's all I can say.
But you must also understand, and this is something that we have not mentioned up to this point, is when Mark left us. He did leave us without giving us the password to QuickBooks or the computer. We were able to hack into the computer, we were able to hack into QuickBooks. This was information that should not have been kept privately.
That's right.
And so we, had to move, and thank Eric came and hacked into the computer, but it was very hard for us because, thank you. Thanks.
Gremlins. So
Um,
are we in a position now where there's not just one person in control
Oh,
of it?
heck yes.
So that was the key there.
The key
Right.
was that previous to this, there was one person that had 100%
No, people get emotional, people get upset. Alyssa left because she can't handle that. You
Yes,
know,
I appreciate that.
Right, so people get emotional, people get upset. We do have a right to express our opinion.
Correct.
We should not be expressing our opinion in a violent way.
No.
But that's what this is all about, is us being able to express our opinion. So I don't even think you need to explain anymore. Does everyone understand what's going on here? Does anyone need any more explanation? Like, I think we understand.
And this is something that we have tried, as a board to keep profit. We didn't necessarily, I don't mean to bash anybody. Certainly the gentleman did a lot of work for this community, and he did this, but he left under a difficult note, and we tried to keep it to ourselves, and luckily, we found, Roxanne has.
Trust and understand, that was already out there. People already knew.
Okay.
So that's
So we
nice that
don't-
you protected him, but people already knew.
But I do want to say the biggest problem that was there, like I said, I'm volunteering to do this. And it's taken me a lot of work, a lot of time, because sometimes I feel I got 2 full-time jobs. But I'm doing this because I want to help the community. But the biggest problem that you guys had was there was no segregation of duties, that you had one individual having control over a lot of money with no accountability. And this is not happening now. There is accountability in this. So I'm just saying that because I'm about to get going. I just want to hear what you have to say, and then I'm excusing myself.
Two things. One is, this is actually a lesson learned that nobody should be having APOA information on their computers at home. They should be, or in a box at home. They should always be in the office with the board members knowing exactly where it is and what it is. And the other thing is, that's why the board needs to be a full board, because you need to be able to have people who can provide that accountability. So hopefully the next time that we have an election come around next year, hopefully people will step up. It's not easy, I know personally, but hopefully people will step up and join the board.
Yes, thank you very much. One quick note, a financial note, and you and I talk about all this all the time. Traditionally, when the funds have come in through our AMAs, we keep them in what we refer to as the checking account. And when we started off last April, there was all of this money in the checking account. And we call that the operating funds versus the reserve funds. You will now find that, as Roxana has mentioned, there's going to be fluidity. So as the AMAs come in, we're not leaving them in the checking account, we're moving them over into what I call the savings account, because we're earning interest there. So it's gonna be kinda hard for people to adjust to the fact that, this is the reserve. One of the things that we have talked about is getting another CD, because we do have a fair amount of cash left over. So if we have the $50,000 that we have rolled over, we'll probably get another CD, and the combination of those two are what I call the sacred money that we don't touch kind of money. They will always kind of be rolling over, and that's our, hurricane money, the hurricane comes. So you just be patient with us. Things are just not gonna happen perhaps exactly the way they've done in the past, but we're just trying to maximum our return.
I just want to say thank you to both of you.
Yeah, thank you, Roxanne.
Yeah, one question, and
I just have a quick question.
Yes, Dana?
I didn't bring this up but I noticed that you under income, you had $150 for the newsletter. How did we generate income?
Oh,
for the
that's,
The ads.
the ads in the, yes.
We didn't have it in your newsletter, but a pre-sale.
The prior year, the newsletter for the prior year, we had 6 people,
Okay.
6 companies that went ahead and paid
We need to done that
$25.
also, we should do that again.
Yes, this one we were just trying to build you with the darn newsletter out.
We're getting there.
So now
That
you're all gonna
newsletter is
say,
amazing.
Karen,
Is all of that going to be on the website, what you just presented, or, because I think people.
If they send it to me, I'll put it on.
yeah,
That's how that goes. Yeah.
Because I think people, like, this has been really good,
yes,
really good. I've really enjoyed, not enjoyed, but if you know what I mean, to be able to look at it.
right,
And when I get questions, I'd like to be able to say, go to the website, it's right there.
okay,
Because people do question, oh my gosh, how come you spend all that money?
yes,
And
And there's
it's hard to explain when they think we're probably gonna go drowning in debt, is what I think they think is going to happen.
yes,
So if that's available to them,
yes. And
this was a wonderful
thank you.
presentation.
Yes, it
It
was.
really was.
Thank you.
You are not. In fact, you have hardly any debt. Your books are good.
Right.
You just have to, we're trying to be very good stewards, and I take enough of your time, I'm
So
sorry.
can we get it on the website?
Yes, yes, yes. Send it
Now,
out.
single-
Yeah.
Post the presentation
You
to the
did a
website.
phenomenal job, we will
Yeah.
let that shine.
You can save it as a PowerPoint, you can save it as a PDF, you can save it as a PDF.
It really needs
Anybody will be able to get in and see it on their phone, on their computer.
Is this a
Yeah.
public website? Yeah,
Well, your finances are pretty much public.
so look at Roxanne and work with Jacqueline.
Yeah, I don't know what website.
Oh, that's a good question.
What's the?
So it's a public website, how do we want that information out to anybody in the universe? Or do you keep it? So, Jacqueline, we've got to find a way, and we've talked
How
about.
about you print it and you can pick up a copy at the office if you're a member.
There you go. All right, we'll figure out a way to get it out to the membership without necessarily getting, so Roxana does a grief sharing, seminar, that is now paid for, and does a
I hope
wonderful
people
job.
that have,
Thank you, Roxanne.
Thank you.
lost loved ones. Thank you, and I'm sorry about the outburst, that was.
It's okay, it needed to be done, because hopefully that was the end of it.
Oh, that's the end.
Thank you.
Thanks, I don't trip, there you go. Lovely. All right. We move on. Thank you, Roxana, that was awesome. Let's do Bill. How about you, Bill? I know I'm bouncing around. Bill, you get to go next.
I don't have much. You can see what's been going on. In May, there'll be a few more projects going on. We're working on a door that'll keep the rain out over here for the clubhouse. Working on, we've got mold in the walls over at the gatehouse because of some wood that was down at the, gathering up moisture all winter. So we're working on getting that wood replaced in the insulation takeout. That's coming up here in May. New door on the barn out there that we can go and lift without breaking our backs. That'll be going on in May. And try to eliminate slag out in front of the clubhouse out here so we don't get another broken window. We don't know if a mower threw a rock up there or not. We couldn't find one. Me and Bill Vaughn looked yesterday. There's no rocks anyplace, so we don't know. It might have been me when I mowed. I don't know. I didn't notice it, but anyhow, we're working on something else out here that'll be coming up in May. So be looking for some more projects. The pier out there, I've got 7 or 8 volunteers. I'll replace the wood, so I'll be getting a price on wood here next week. And that'll be coming up here in May or sometime when all the new money starts rolling. Other than that, just look around. The roads will be starting going by Green Goblin in May. If you notice roads that still have the grassy things growing up where they haven't been cut, let myself and Wendy know so we can talk to Ryan. That's about all I have.
Okay, thank you. Sam? He's gonna go down.
As a reminder, next weekend, Friday, April 19th, 9 o'clock, we're going to start our roadside cleanup. We'll meet at the gatehouse like always and help keep our subdivision clean. On the website, we have posted, there was a bear seen in the park earlier this month, I believe. And yes, we do live in a wildlife sanctuary. You will see bears, fox, coyotes, deer.
Is the bear food in the park?
Yes.
Do we know if the bear food in the park, but that's a big deal to stop.
They can get inside, yes.
We didn't be able to stop that.
On the website, we have posted some information, what you can do to keep bears away from your place, like bird feeders and stuff like that, just for your information. Springtime is here, and with springtime comes a lot of our little critters out. We'll see birds and everything, but we also see a lot of snakes. Not every snake is harmful. A lot of them do better good in your yard, getting rodents and stuff like that away from your house. So please do not kill them. If you have any questions, call animal control, and they can let you know if it's a poisonous snake or not. And speaking of that, once this cold snap right here finishes, we should start seeing hummingbirds. So it's time to get your hummingbird feeders ready.
I've seen them. I've had
Okay, there we go. They're already here.
I had one yesterday.
That's springtime. Thank you very much.
All right, Kathy?
At our preparation meeting that we have every Wednesday before these meetings, just know that y'all are welcome to come. That's where we talk about what we're gonna talk about today. And they're open to board members and they're in this room. You know that one of my pushes over the past year has been to work with property owners who are not compliant with the way their property is kept. I'm hoping that the board, along with me, and y'all, are going to have a greater push this coming year to help in that regard. That's the hard thing. Painting and beautifying is the easy thing. This is the hard thing. But it needs to be done. You know, many of our properties have been in disrepair and neglect for years. It's not something that just happened when we came on the board. And it's not something that's easy to fix. We have folks who have been offered, generically, ways to help. Those people don't come to these meetings. They're at home. So my thought for the coming year is to be proactive. We're gonna have to make visits to folks, one-on-one conversations about our concerns with their property and how we can help them. And I'm kind of calling it neighbors helping neighbors. Many of the people who have properties that are in disrepair are old and infirm and have lived here a long time, and things have just grown up around them and they're just overwhelmed. Other people have other problems. So one of the things that we are going to do is get a industrial sized dumpster. We're probably gonna keep it in behind the gate here so that people aren't just dumping their trash in it. sure they want us to help them and that kind of thing. So if you have any ideas about properties or folks that you know of that need help, please share those with us. You can leave messages in the office or you can contact me. Lynn sent me a message about a guy on Facebook that will come pick up metal objects, big metal objects. I'm sure he's taking them to the junk yard and getting a little bit of money for them. But he'll come pick them up if we get them outside for him. Washing machines, car batteries, grills, anything metal that he can take off. And so that's free. All we gotta do is get it out of the house or get it to the road. So, you know, and as I've said before, Top Notch will come and haul off cars for a $50 tow fee if the person, if the person will agree to that. So we've got things we can do. We've just got to identify the people and talk to them and see if they're in agreement for us to kind of help them get the ball rolling. So that's kind of where we're going with that. A dumpster is very reasonable. Bill got us a price for $445 where they'll deliver it and that's one haul away. So very reasonable sounds to me like. So anyway, as we move through the spring and the summer, that's going to be kind of what I think we're going to be focusing on.
Can I interject that if you have a neighbor or you see somebody you think that we can help, let us know. You know, I often get emails or Facebook messages, something from people saying, oh, this neighbor's got a mess, or this, you know, their place looks terrible. Well, you know, let us know if you think there's somebody out there who's elderly or for whatever reason they're struggling, that we could perhaps connect with. We would be happy to hear about it.
We need your name and your number and where they are. So, thank you.
Linda?
All of these really important things that have gone on, and I'm gonna talk about Easter egg hunts. I feel, anyway.
That's important.
We like the Easter egg hunt.
It's all good.
Lighten the mood.
Yeah, lighten the mood. You're a fun person. Here I am. Our Easter egg hunt is April 19th. It's an all-age group. I don't really see many children in our neighborhood anymore, so I don't know if we really are going to continue this much more often. But I do all ages, and this year what I'm doing is I'm adding, I don't know if any of you are familiar with the television show Minute to Win It. It's a challenge, little contest. I've added 3 or 4 of those little games to this Easter egg hunt, and then we'll just have a little treat afterwards. It's 1:30 in the afternoon, April 19th. If you care to help hide eggs or help fill up the little baskets, I'm willing to take that help. I'll probably be here in the clubhouse about noon to finish up whatever I haven't finished up. So that's your invitation. Community yard sale. Last year I was inundated with names and addresses. This year I have very few participants so far. If you want to be on the map, I need to have your map and your address to my email or Facebook, or call into the office, leave a message. Some way I need to have your address if you want it to go on the map by April 22nd so that I can actually work on that map and have it prepared. April 26th, 9 a.m. If you're an early bird and you want to have an early bird sale, entirely up to you. You can open earlier. But April 26th, I would like that you all provide your own yard sale signs in your own yard so people know that they can stop and take a look at your items. Third Thursday, we started it last month. Third Thursday is ladies group, where we get to maybe not be so ladylike, I don't know. April 17th, 6:30 p.m. So that's coming up. What else do I have? Clubhouse rentals. So I've had a lot of questions the same date. And how do I solve that dilemma? I get phone calls, please put this date on, save it for me. I cannot save these dates. First payment with the security deposit secures your date. And that way, I don't make so many enemies because, you know, it's a rule. So the lease agreement I have seen, and Jackie, if she's here, you can confirm, I believe is on the arrowheadbeach.com webpage now, so you can download and get your own lease agreement. So I have a couple of these cards here if you want to get my email, if you want to give me addresses, if you want to give me critiques, comments, insults, compliments, I'll take anything. Okay? And let's see, what else do I have? I honestly think that's all, unless anybody else has a question or concern.
Thank you, Lynn.
Okay.
Excellent. Kitty, where are you? There you go. You wanna come and stand up? We're trying to get, I know, you used to do it all the time.
I just use, that's my place
I
right
know,
there.
but Eric's doing an excellent job of recording these things, so.
Thank you, Eric.
He's following you with the camera as you're walking around.
That's she was. All right. I thought March was starting out kind of quiet, but we had a committee member call and said she had found a telephone and a Hot Wheel on the side of the road. So we took off in my golf cart and there was an address on the telephone, and we went to that address, and the setter was inside, and she was babysitting, and the 6-year-old was off in the neighborhood. So we found the 6-year-old, this was about 7:30 at night. So it ended well. The setter was with us, and she took her child home. Which, like I said, was about 6 years old. And then, I'm sure most of you have probably heard about, there was a break-in, if you want to call it that, where somebody had gone under the house and had taken copper tubing, pipe, you know, for water and everything, up on Creek Trail. When you go by the house, it is a vacation home. The only access to it was either back near the water behind it, and it was all grown up over here, and there was a vacation home was next, and then it was nobody. So it was a very isolated place. And I think that's what's happening in here, because we've had a number of other reports. I've been in contact with the Sheriff's Department, so they're kind of telling me things, and I'm trying to keep them up on what's going on here. And when I asked about some of the other things that have happened, they haven't gotten reports. So if you hear something on Facebook, I'm not so sure that social media is the best place to share, because like I said, I asked Sergeant White, and he hadn't heard anything about it. He says, but we do have something going on in the next street. So I think it's that time of the year, maybe everybody's just getting out, and so the discussion on Facebook is something that, like I said, unless you know for absolutely sure, don't put it out there, because we get a lot of things going around. On May the 15th, the Albemarle Commission Area Agency is going to present a scam jam. And this is to inform you, do you get telephone calls where they want to sell you something, or you're getting, I get texts, and everybody knows me, I don't text, but I get texts all the time on my phone, and it's closing my checking account down or whatnot. So the scam jam is, it said it's about Medicare fraud, identity theft, and much more. So it's going to be held, you know, if you know where the sheriff's deputy, where the office is and everything, it's on May the 15th from 2 to 4 o'clock. And I think Jackie, she has already got it on our webpage, and I'm going to have to check with somebody to get it on our Facebook page. So it would be, I think it would be great for everybody. If you're a caregiver, that would be something that would help you with your elderly person. So the committee reports
had a total of 4,442 site sessions. Of those 4,442 site sessions, 3,855 were unique visitors to our website. That was for the year. For the last month, reporting is there were a total of 290 site sessions. Of the 290 site sessions, 227 were unique visitors. And unique visitors just simply means first-time visitors to the website. And pretty much I think everybody's already talked about, I've added the things that I've added to the website this past week, including the Bear Watch that was citing, in addition to what Kitty just talked about, the jam session.
How about the minutes? Are the minutes called out?
The minutes are caught up as per, I can, the last annual from last week, I don't have. So whenever she sends them, I can usually put
Yeah,
them
I
up.
have, the ones I just read out, she had, so I can.
Okay, yeah, so once you send that to me, the minutes are all caught up for what I have. And that's it.
Great, thank you, Jacqueline. Okay, now it's my turn. First thing, Colleen asked me to let you know that there was a resident, Barbara Sutton, who I was not familiar with, was a longtime volunteer who has recently passed away. If you know her or any of her family members, please give them our condolences.
Can I interject?
Yes,
for a second?
please.
Barbara Sutton has been a volunteer pretty much her entire life. She worked for the school district for a while. She worked in the police department in Virginia for a good while. And what she also does is, for no money whatsoever, she has probably made about 1,000 walker aprons for people all around. And in fact, my mother had one in Florida. And she makes them, all the materials, most of the materials are donated to her. And she made them and just gave them away. And she did teach me how to do it. I'm definitely not anywhere near as good as she is. So I may start taking it up to carry on, the good work that she did. I'm thinking about it.
And she was also the longtime friend
Right.
of Kenny Nolan, who a lot of you may know. He used to be our park guy, kind of our Bill, for years. And they were very close, so I'm sure he's suffering in his heart right now as well. So if you keep him in your prayers, I'm sure they would appreciate it.
Thank you for both of you for.
And their family would like to have a service at the Faith Fellowship Church in Tyner. However, the plans have not been made yet. But I'll let people know if you want to go to that service.
Yeah, thank you, that's fantastic, thank you. Lynn mentioned the third Thursday women's group. Mark has suggested or is thinking about trying to get together a veterans group. Again, we're trying to encourage people to come up with your groups. If it's open to the public, have it here in the clubhouse. There is no charge. I think it would be great. The men want to get together and swill beer and have a kegger or something. And with all the veterans and just, exchange camaraderie and stories.
And part of the idea, thank you, Wendy, is to kind of piggyback on what Kitty does for the neighborhood, and I know a lot of other people, but I think veterans bring a different viewpoint to, and a lot of different assistance that I believe we can provide, especially after if there's a storm or a hurricane or something crazy hits. There's a lot of tools that veterans have at their disposal, and from their knowledge and experience that can really help the community. So that was kind of my idea. There's a lot of veterans sitting here, there's a lot of veterans in this room that I think we got together. There's a lot of cool training that the sheriff's department gives, that the federal government gives, like CERT training that can give you, help to how to enter a house that's been, if a hurricane comes through and destroyed a house, make sure there's no one inside. There's a lot of cool stuff that I think veterans can bring as far as training and experience and know how to get things like that done. So,
No, I think it's
and
great.
security. I mean, honestly, after a hurricane, you're not gonna get a sheriff coming through here.
No,
So-
I think it's fantastic, and of course, there are women veterans as well. So it's a fantastic group of people. It'd be nice to see you all get together.
If that's something you want to do, I'd be happy to set that up with Wendy and get a date, just see me or.
Yeah, and just get the information out. Thanks, Mark. No, that's fantastic.
And we can have beer
a place that you have to go and, you know, drink soda, and it's not quite as much fun, but, different levels of fun. Well, thank you for that. One of my next projects, if you wonder, you know, what I'm gonna get myself into next, is, focus on signage. We need help with our signs. We've got one that's falling down by Chowan Beach. I know the one that's on the corner of, Apache and Bandon is in bad shape. I'd like to have a sign, you know, better signage about the clubhouse, you know, where you turn to come into the clubhouse. So there's all sorts of signs. Lynn has a bunch of ideas for signs as well. There's a company in Hertford that hopefully I will be working with. I'm a former graphic designer, so doing signs is one of my favorite things to do. I love that. Quick note, there will not be a meeting next month. Next month, I know, Eric's all excited back there. Next month, that weekend, it's Mother's Day graduation weekend. Several of us unfortunately have, you know, commitments. So rather than try to reschedule it because we've had 2 meetings this month, we are going to forego, and it will be announced that there will be no meeting in May. And hopefully you'll all be going to Mother's Day or graduation events for children and grandchildren. Another note, we did not get anybody who's wanted to step up and be on the board. And I can all see your faces, wow, being on the board is such a fun thing. But it actually is. You know, we as a group have a lot of fun together. We do have contentious moments, which we just witnessed. But it is nice. It is nice to participate. So we will, you know, be looking if anybody's out there that goes, yes, that's really what I want to do. Just let us know, because even though we did not have your name for the election, we can still bring you onto the board. We do have a couple of positions available, and you know we're always looking for volunteers.
Could you bring up the difference between voted in and appointed?
Go ahead, why don't you explain that yourself?
Okay. Simplistically, you do not need to be voted on the board. The board can appoint you. So if you're appointed, I'm going to say this as simply as possible, you're not really locked in. You can be appointed, you can try it out. Gee, sorry, the appointment doesn't fit me, it doesn't suit, I'm going to give you 2 months and I'm out of here. You can do that. You can also do it as if you were elected too. I mean, I did that, if you all remember. Once upon a time, I walked out and said, I'm not doing this anymore. And I came back, because I really want to do this. I don't know why, glutton, punishment, I don't know. But I really do want to see more community involvement. But the big point is, you can be appointed, and it doesn't have to be 100% a full year, 3-year commitment. If you want to try it out, give it a test. I suggest try it out and give it a test.
We do actually have.
Oh, we're gonna volunteer.
Bill, we've been begging you for the longest time to volunteer.
Regarding appointments are to vacant board positions.
Correct.
So
That's
they
right.
are for a specific period of time. However, if someone is appointed to a vacant board position that doesn't expire until 2028, 6 months down the road, they can say, gee, this doesn't fit what I want to do, and they can resign.
Okay.
But the appointments are to vacant positions, they are for a specific time period.
You said it beautifully.
Yeah, we should ask you to do it at the first.
There are 3 vacant positions currently,
Yes,
all of which expire on 30 April 2028.
yes, legal, building control.
There are 3 vacant
Oh, yes, I
positions.
apologize, 3 not with specific roles. You're perfectly correct.
Board decided those.
Sorry about that. My next note is Colleen has been working on getting the playground together. Do you have any updates you want to throw out of that?
Well, I just got some information I want to share with the playground committee, so I'd like to,
Yes, please, come up to the podium.
So, well, thanks to Wendy and her husband, they primed the playground equipment after it was sandblasted. So we're very thankful for them for doing that. We've got some information. Lynn, her job was to get some legal information, some rules and regulations about, playgrounds and playground equipment. So she gave that to me. I'd like to we've chosen colors, that we're gonna talk about more and make sure that we have the colors that complement each other throughout each of the pieces of the equipment. We're looking at, ground covers around the, cause we met, a few weeks ago, and we looked at all the ground covers that we could put on there, underneath like the swings for, instead of just the sand, cause that does get compacted and hard. And so we've also, looked at, possibly adding some equipment to the playground. That we have not made a decision on, we're still working on that. So I would like to actually have either a meeting on Monday or Tuesday, either 5 or 6 o'clock, and I was gonna post it on Facebook after this meeting, so that we could, come here, review the information that Lynn has submitted, and then start to go forward in terms of, getting specifically what colors or what, which equipment we have, out there.
Perfect.
You have card club on Tuesdays in here.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right,
it
okay.
can't be too.
So, so I'll ask people to, and everyone is invited. We're gonna have it here in the clubhouse. Everyone's invited who wants to come and be part of it. And then we'll get going with the painting. Painting as you put off, you see the weather, and, so we're gonna meet and go over some stuff and make a plan for it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I have a quick sermon. It's about Facebook. I am beyond appalled at the Facebook that has been going on this past week. I myself have had to block 2 people from sending me messages. People don't realize that my Facebook page is my Facebook page. And yes, you can send me a quick message and say, hey Wendy, what about this or that and the other thing? Do I need lengthy discussions about a topic on my personal Facebook page that I'm looking at during my home time? Absolutely not. So 2 people who seem to have taken that ball and run with it no longer can contact me on Facebook. I have had ugly things said to me. One woman said, frankly, your resignation would be seen by many as a step in the right direction. Wow, thanks, God. So happy to hear this.
I bet she doesn't attend these meetings.
And she does not attend this meeting.
Probably posted on this.
No, I won't say who it is.
That's fine.
There's somebody who was complaining about, we were gonna get into the dog thing in a second. But, somebody referred to the fact that this is my circus and you were all my monkeys. I think that's.
I said that.
I know you did. You were also blocked from my Facebook. I will be quite blunt. It's been horrible. Please, please, please stop posting crap on Facebook. The dog discussion. I'm going to say it very simply. We all talked about it on Wednesday's meeting. There is no discussion about the dogs. There was a survey that went out that Colleen and Ruth put out. It had nothing to do with the board. We didn't, read it ahead of time. We stuck it in the newsletter. It has nothing to do with us. People have asked me for a year how I feel about dogs in the park. I have always said, hey, and Mark and I have talked about it, if you have a group, if there's a group of people and you can all come together and you can come up with a great plan for dogs in the park, bring it to the board. No one has done that yet. And I will say, I'm not necessarily keen on dogs in the park, and one reason being, let me ask you, who do you think takes out the trash in the park?
You.
Me! So try to imagine, it's 95 degrees in the summer, everybody has walked their dog in the park and hopefully put their poop in a little blue poopy bag. You know where they're gonna put it? They're gonna put it in the trash can in the breezeway. And do you know who empties that trash can? That would be me. I'm not gonna do it. Absolutely not gonna do it. I am not picking up people's dogs' poop. It's bad enough this summer that I had one day that I had 5 pounds of dead, rotting catfish that I had to carry myself from the beach all the way up to the dumpster. All right, I suck it up and I will do your dead catfish. I also have Becky's grandson helping me out on that one, yay. But I am not carrying dog poop. So if there is a person in our community who would like to be interested in finding out whether or not we can have dogs in the park, not a dog park because that has been eliminated, you need to get a petition together. You need to work with Becky in the office, I know she's smiling at that, to make sure that the wording is done correctly, because there are certain, we looked at that over, on Saturday, there are certain ways you have to word it. You have to come up with a complete and total plan for how you're going to dispose of waste and all the rules and regulations. You then have to go into the community and get, is it 51? 50 signatures
In good standing.
of people who have paid their AMAs. And that is all we're going to say about the dog park. We are not going to discuss it today. And those of you who would like to get on Facebook and want to say horrible things to each other, there are people who are not at this meeting today who wanted to be at this meeting but felt threatened by people on Facebook. And I have gotten several messages. I wanted to attend the meeting but won't because there are certain individuals who have threatened me on Facebook. Let's not have Chicken Gate again, please, people. We went through this a year and a half ago. It is humiliating. People outside of Arrowhead make fun of us because of Chicken Gate and now Dog Gate, as I like to call it. Please stop. Stop being a fake. I call it a keyboard warrior. Think twice before you post stupid things on Facebook or criticize somebody for their opinions. Just stop. That's it. I have nothing more to say. I don't even want to hear about the dogs. Until I see that petition with 50 signatures on it, a solid plan that we will then put out to the community next April's election when we have votes. It's not going to go out until next April. We are not going to do a special vote where we have to pay postage to get out there and vote, have people vote. Because to be perfectly honest, from what we can tell, the majority of people don't want dogs in the park. So if it was a really close thing, sure, cool, maybe we would do it. But so far, I have not witnessed that at all. So Becky, did you have something you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, just real quick. The numbers on the survey, and I apologize, because I counted them in haste. There were several of the surveys that marked 1, 2, 3, and 5. So I was marking 1, 2, 3, and 5, but it should be just 3 instead of 1, 2, because 3 is 1 and 2. So they were getting, it was very confusing. This survey was just totally confusing. But the majority, 42 said no, and less than that.
How many votes were there altogether?
80.
How many ballots came in altogether?
83.
So, you know.
I mean, and I also have on the back table back here, Article 5, Section 3, page 5, about the petition. So if you want to know about the petition, it's printed on the back.
Okay, thank you. So,
Okay.
Stephanie.
Hi, I'll be up to the microphone.
Please come up to the podium.
I'll be honest with you, I've never had a problem with enunciating loudly. I was not on Facebook. I specifically stayed on Facebook. I did see the drama. I will say that I think Facebook is a real easy place to post opinions that you're not always willing to back up, right? That's those anonymous posters, those people who, you know, get ugly, go personal. And that should never happen. But I will say this. The problem I had with that whole survey is it's ambiguous. We had 80, how many surveys?
83.
83 and 42 no's, okay? So if you do the math, it's simple math. That does not say no to dogs, okay? So, strangely enough, I downloaded the AMAs last night. I looked at the petition, and I will be pursuing that. So I will be pursuing for January of next year to be in the March newsletter, because I know it now without even the little printout that y'all did, although that's great, but I'm blind and I can't see it. So I have to take a picture of it and enlarge it. I will be. So if you're interested in it, you can definitely contact me.
Right.
And I will be looking into that to see if we do have that kind of support. Because I'll be honest with you, I was here for Chicken Gate. I was part of Chicken Gate. I still am part of Chicken Gate. However, I will say this. The biggest arguments I hear is responsible pet owners, right? People being responsible for their pets. That's the biggest thing I hear. Well, you know what? There's ways to combat that. I'll be looking at that. I already thought about the waste. I'll be looking at that as well. I don't think it's fair for you to have to do it. So if people want this, then they need to volunteer to help with this. And so we'll be looking at that. If it doesn't fly, it doesn't fly.
Right.
But if anyone has anything to say about a dog park, refer them to me.
Thank you.
All right? They are welcome to message me. I will not be giving out my cell phone
And
number.
your whole name is Stephanie
Owens,
Yeah.
the infamous. Because I'm somebody who will hold you accountable when I see things that don't make sense, and that survey did not make sense to me. And I brought that up last week, because it's not, the word overwhelming was used for no. If you have 80 some odd surveys and 42 of them are no, that is not an overwhelming vote for no, regardless of how many checks got checked. So my whole thing was, maybe we should do a new survey, and I think people lost sight of the fact that the survey was a survey.
Yes.
It was not a vote, it was gathering of opinions, which I actually appreciated, because we've been through this over and over and over. And I said, the last thing I said about this on Facebook, and this is when I decided to stop, was I said, every time this comes up, we get more support. So if you want dogs in the park, whether it's specific days, specific hours, and or, which I think is one of the resolutions, is you have every Wednesday from 5 to 7, you can walk your dog in the park. And you have to be a responsible pet owner. And that's gonna take all of us being accountable to that.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. 'Cause
So I just wanna put myself out there to volunteer.
I have never been 100% honest. People have asked me, I've never said no. I said, I just don't want to come up with a plan, and two, I don't want to pick up the dog food.
Well, and I don't think it's fair to ask anyone to do that.
Thank
All right, so I think that if, there's nothing wrong with policing your own dog poop, right? So if I gather my blue bags, which I have my blue bags, if I gather my blue bags, then I can take my blue bags home with me.
Right.
And that can be a set expectation. It is what it is. We all have, I want to know how the bear got in the park. Did he have a gate key? Because
I thought you were joking.
oh no, I know. I'm teasing. I know they swim. I'm just being silly. We had silliness about bear poop. I'm just being silly about, okay, how do you get a gate key? Because half of us can't get it sometimes. So anyways, please put me out there and say, if you're interested in this, please contact Stephanie Owens. You can tell them that I'm on Facebook. I took myself off Facebook for a month, put myself back on recently, and read it all, and was like, holy
And
cow.
may I suggest that you put out on Facebook and set up a time and a meeting. You can have a meeting here in the clubhouse. Have just for all your supporters to come up with a plan. I've always encouraged that.
Okay.
So thank you.
I have a question.
Yep.
When we're doing a petition, how do we find out who's in good standing? Does that come down to?
The office, yeah, we can work at the office, yeah, and I know the ladies in the office, they know me. So, I'm happy, and I'm happy to facilitate it. I will be pursuing a board position. I just can't do it right now. I work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, from starting next week, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., so that frees me up some. So I can't come to the Thursday meetings, just got Thursdays off.
Wednesdays.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, I just got Thursdays off. I literally am off Wednesdays, but next week I start Thursdays, but it's Easter week, I'm in the Outer Banks next week.
So, yeah, we would love to have you.
I would love to come, and if the meeting for the playground could be 7 p.m., I'll be 5 minutes late, but I'll be there. Yeah, so, because I've volunteered a couple of times for it, but it's always yours, like, oh, meet us in the park. I'm like, oh my God, I'm working, I can't. So I work from home though, so it's an easy 5-second trip over here. But if you do it at 7 p.m., I'll be here for that, and I'll help paint. I also would like to volunteer to help with any beautification involving plants.
All right.
All right, so if you do anything out here, you were talking about doing beds, I'm down.
Okay.
I have one other thing I want to talk about. All right, so last week I brought up UTE.
Sunny, we're having.
Someone has the floor here.
So last week I brought up UTE. Okay. And somebody did go over in that pothole and dump some asphalt. It literally did not take up the whole pothole. I rode by there yesterday and it is sunk again. So something's going on in the middle of that road. It's a sinkhole. And eventually it's going to open up.
Sam?
What they did when they came in here and laid these roads originally, when they cut a tree down, they just left the stump there.
Yeah, I know it's a rotten
So
stump.
that's
I
what's
have it in my yard.
happening.
Yeah.
The stump is rotting, and so it's making our.
Well, can I ask just another question? Why do we have all the patches?
That's right. I talked to the guys the day they were cutting that, and that was what, like last August, they cut all those patches in it over there by.
It's on Oot, but it's not just Oot. It was down Arrowhead Trail. It was, yeah.
It's right out where we live. We run over them all the time. We run over 4 of them. And the guy told me as he was cutting, he said, yeah, they're gonna be back to fix these at some point in the future. What they did was they cut all the tree roots out right next to giant stumps of major trees. They cut all the roots out. what it's gonna do is next time there's a hurricane, those trees have no support, they're gonna come right down. What they did is really screwed up, and the guy told me they're doing. They cut the holes, they cut the roots out, and then they just dump rocks in there, and he said, someone come by and fix it.
They did it on, they had a patch on Arrowhead Trail down towards the end, and then there was another one on Arapahoe.
They're right in front of.
Because you know, I'm a golf cart driver, so I'm out on my golf cart all the time, taking my German Shepherd who thinks she's a princess for rides. But Ood is specifically bad. When you turn off, is that Cherokee?
Well, I'm right on Brown and Ood.
Yeah, if you turn off the Cherokee onto Ood, there are 3 patches. There's only this much road.
They only fixed a few of them that they cut out. The rest of them are.
So is that the DOT? Who is that? Well, they need to go fix it, because it's bad. And if you come around there on a bicycle or a motorcycle, it's gonna go out under.
All right, so we can continue doing that. Anybody else have?
That's it.
Just one other thing about the Department of Transportation, you can call them directly, you don't have to wait for the board to call. You
I just
call
wanted to make sure that was
Yeah.
okay, and I don't want to overstep any
Call
bounds.
them directly, no, call them directly.
I'll call them.
I don't know if Mary is still in there.
I think everybody that has concerns should call.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I'll tell you what I'll do, is next time I'm on a golf cart ride, I will make a note of the closest address to every single patch that needs to be patched, and I will post it on Facebook. And so then you can, and I will call too, and then you can call, you can go, there's Stephanie's list, and you can call and go, these all need to be, because it's getting really bad.
Yeah, there's something. I mean, it's to the point, and the problem is the roots, they cut the roots out of those trees. The other thing is, the animal control did come out and capture a bunch of cats. I know personally, they caught 5 cats, one every single day for 5 days. And there's still more to go, but they did remove a bunch of cats. Unfortunately, there's a pregnant female cat, of course, it has to be female, right? Females can have baby. Sorry. So, there is a pregnant female cat in that same area that's still rolling around. It's gonna probably give birth there pretty soon. So, and just one more thing, and I know this is out of the realm request, but with this dog cart idea, I definitely want to help you with that. I have some ideas, but if you don't even come to the park now anyway, just don't vote. If you do come to the park, and it is a concern that your kid's gonna eat the poop, then you should vote. Or
But here's
step
the
in it,
thing,
or
some
slide.
people don't come because they can't bring their dogs. And I've talked to some walkers who walk by my house.
It just isn't fair that people that don't even use the park are
There's
gonna
some people
vote.
that can't
All right, so
We can't do that.
It just
the
isn't.
meeting is
Yeah, we
going on,
can't.
as far as I know, other people have different things. I'm going to call a day, ask Kathy to do our benediction. Oops, sorry, Rebecca.
One real quick thing, the office is now open on Fridays from 4 to 7.
Yes.
And Saturdays, starting May the 17th, will be open on Saturdays from 12 to 3 for 2 months.
Okay, thank you. Kathy, would you do our benediction, because we lost Bill? Oh, quick plant swap.
Okay, so I've been trying to work on a plant swap. I've been talking to some of the women that I know do a lot of planting. I've been told we should try like maybe after Mother's Day for an actual meeting. I need to know from those of you who are good planters if that's a better idea than trying to do it now. Yes.
Yes. Yes, not now.
May 31st, how's that sound?
That sounds great.
We got it, May
Okay.
31st.
Kathy, benediction?